wait with that ban a little bit and see if Fnatic removes it on red side where we normally see her removed. I like this adaptation with the Zac, saying we don't want to actually be forced into have to first pick Zac if things like Thresh would be open, because we saw before that Fnatic did not have an answer that could actually allow Jessis and Reckless to win the bot lane.
Yes, indeed. Now G2, are they going to do anything different once again?
Should probably just ban Elise then, if they are looking to first pick Thresh, or ban the Thresh and first pick Elise. So that might be what they're looking to do here.
All right.
I think they
still
value...
give away the Lee Sin.
Yeah, they give away Lee Sin, which obviously is a bit annoying, which actually with that point, Pyra, could set up a first pick Kennen and just trade junglers. But I think giving Elise to Broxah is super, super risky, and it's the perfect pick for him and Fnatic's early game.
Fnatic, they're weighing their last ban heavily here in Phase 1. What will it be as the seconds tick by?
Man.
They elect to ban the Twitch. Does anyone have a chance on that? And what else are G2 going to take
it's
the Kennen away?
It's Kennen or Elise. Either you take the Kennen and you trade Elise for Lee Sin or Kha'Zix and you're fine with that, or you take the Elise, which I think is the correct choice because it is just such a power pick in the current meta and the best jungler for Broxah and Fnatic's early game. So once again, seems like Reckless will get his Kennen Shen combo. And that's where maybe you got to look at the bans and say, is it worth it banning, the Thresh as well? But it's hard.
They leave the Shen open, though, as they take Lee Sin early on here.
Yeah, but G2 have not been picking Shen early, so I don't think Fnatic is too afraid of that. I think G2 are looking to just get a winning top lane once again for Expected. Just give him a carry champion and give Shen over to Fnatic. You got to keep in mind, Rumble is a great pick against Shen, so by taking that early, they already show, okay, this is going to be our top lane matchup, but that actually might mean Source just won't pick the Shen. Like, there's other champions he can play.
Maybe they're hoping he doesn't pick it, so they're mind gaming.
I don't know. There's a lot of mind games, and these two teams here, they scream each other. They obviously talk a lot to each other. They know each other so well, which is why these pick and ban phases are so fun in terms of the small mind games always happening.
But at the end, G2 lock in the Kog'Maw for Sven. It's been a day for hyper carries, especially for him.
Now we have to remember, if Zyra is not banned in the next phase by G2, then that becomes the first pick for Jessis, and Fnatic can ban away counters. Ooh, Jarvan
last second switch up. All right, so Jarvan's in for Expect. Now, what are Fnatic going to answer with?
Could take Zyra here, ban away counters like Blitzcrank from Mithy, and then you have a super strong 2v2 bot lane, but Shen is probably the go-to choice. So you don't risk it getting banned. Unless Fnatic are trying to spice it up a little bit. I think the Shen Kennen combo worked just fine. And I think that's why they decide to go with it once again. And now we're looking at that Zyra for Jessis, which should be abandoned by G2 eSports to avoid the same situation we saw in Game 1.
All right. So, with that Expected right now, what else are Fnatic going to ban on their side? They've got 2 more left up and available. We're still looking for a Perks champion. I got to think that Cassiopeia is getting out of there.
Well, the thing is, you haven't shown any mid laners, so the pool is so open that when you start banning mid laners, you don't actually pinch the roll too much, because then, well, Perks goes Orianna. He's like, okay,
that's a good point.
That's fine. The Zyra ban here is way more impactful, in my opinion, and a smart choice. If G2 can get away with playing a melee support bot lane, they'll take it, 100%. If they can get like a Braum, that's exactly what they're looking for. Or, worst case, you just pick Lulu again, and you just try and say, you know what? Early laning, not important. Let's get to team fights. Let's get to the late game.
But Fnatic banned the Orianna themselves, so that says no Wombo combo.
Well, it's because it's the safest blind pick for G2. So it starts hinting towards Caps getting a counter pick, and you pick your support here for Jessis. And then you have your Caps pick last against Perks. LeBlanc here could take away from them to avoid Caps, obviously, having that option. So a lot of decisions now with Zyra being removed for Fnatic, and they seem to go back to an old standard, an old comfort with the Karma mid, but not exactly the pick that destroys the enemy team's pick and ban phase.
No, that could also still be definitely not going to be.
I mean, it opens up for Lulu. It opens up for Lulu.
Lulu Cog, I mean, it's your pretty solid combo all across the board, right?
Lulu support, obviously not Lulu mid. Lucian mid coming in.
Not as a flex, G2. Just the blind.
I think Victor or Cassiopeia could be 2 good choices then for Fnatic to go against the Lucian mid lane. Will do just fine, especially the Cassiopeia can actually out-trade Lucian pretty well, and I think that will be a good choice for Caps, because he also sits with the Shen ulti to help him. So in case Lucian ever all-ins, like dashes forward,
Installed.
you can call the Shin ult, and it's really hard for Lucian to get out. So I think there's a really good last pick for Caps, and of course, why they save that last pick for him.
All right, and we'll see if they get into a tussle in that mid lane once again. G2 eSports and Fnatic going at it for supremacy in Group A. We'll see who's going to come out on top. Fnatic have themselves some serious shields in the form of Shen. At least Sin's adding a little bit up in there. And of course the Karma. So there's protection for Caps. And then of course Reckless. He really does love that cannon.
Of course, when you leave it open, you know, it's the champion that's banned the most in the EU LCS, and then when G2 plays Fnatic, they leave it open 3 games in a row.
It's confidence.
It's confidence.
Gotta give him that.
They're definitely trying to show that they can play against it. Succeeded one game, failed the other one. And also Jarvan top for Expect. We said it, he wants the carries, give Shin over to Source every time. And I think Expect had a good Renekton performance. If he can do the same on Jarvan, then this champion can take over the game. We've seen it in LCK multiple times already. Early kills for him. He roams around the map with a crazy strong ulti, and then suddenly you win the game.
Yeah, not to mention he's got Trick on Elise right now, so we could see some early trips up top. But of course, Broxah might look to match that now. We want to hear from you guys. It has been a long, hard-fought series between G2 and Fnatic, but who do you think will take the final victory? Hop on Twitter, hashtag G2 winner, hashtag FNC win. I got a feeling I know who the fans are going to vote for at Officio, but tell me straight, who you think?
I mean, that's so hard to call already. That's the thing. So much depends on the Soa's Reckless combo in the mid game, or let's see, Trick's performance early game on this Elysia, because G2's comp is a little bit all over the place. There's some late game scaling, but there's also a lot of early game power with Elise, Jarvan, Lucian. A lot of different options for them and how they want to play early on. And we're looking at Trick, of course, on this Elise, and Broxah to try and match the early aggression.
Well, Broxah wasn't able to do it in game number 1. I was right. I thought Fnatic was going to win that vote.
Well, they do tend to win the fan votes.
Easiest prediction ever.
But still important to highlight that G2 has picked up a lot of fans after MSI.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, huge, honestly, amount of support coming out from their performance there, and just how much work they've been putting in is kind of started to shine through, especially. Not just the MSI performance, but honestly, overall, it's been a long time coming.
And also a lot of respect. That's what I notice a lot. Like, it's not necessarily people just blindly saying, oh, I love everything about this lineup. It's a lot of respect now after their performance, you know, really challenging SKT in that final, taking down WE as well. Knocking out TSM was also part of it.
Yeah, no, that's always a good thing.
It helps for the European fans. Tend to like you more when you beat North America.
Yeah, a little bit extra regional pride going a long way for sure. G2, you know, finally showing up on an international stage, and we can definitely expect some great things for them going forward. But into this one, they've still got to knock Fnatic down a few pegs. If they can do it, push themselves a little closer to their rightful place in Group A. I mean, this is a hell of a competitive group, it looks like. Everybody's starting to challenge. Even NIP, we saw earlier today, giving a hell of a hard time to Misfits Gaming.
Now, obviously, we are expecting Fnatic and G2 to be the 2 teams sitting at number 1 and number 2 in Group A and make it into the playoffs. I think people would be very surprised if that didn't happen.
Well, that would be one crazy roller coaster ride if things start to turn around a little differently.
Definitely true, and that's the important thing about Summer Split is, you know, it's obviously about making playoffs and winning Summer Split, but it's also just about making worlds. And Fnatic, G2, HK, Unicorns, all these teams, they really want to go to Worlds, and they've had really good starts to the EU LCS. Misfits always talking about, you know, the 1-year plan, end up at Worlds as well. So much competition in Europe for who will actually make it all the way to the World Championships. Everyone is expecting G2 to go, based on them winning the Spring Split as well, and being a team that won 3 splits in a row, but they got to take 2 other teams with them.
Yeah, and this is early to say. We're only in week number 2, right? But G2 have been challenged harder than, honestly, we've seen them since their LCS debut. In this series so far, Fnatic really taking it to them. And, I mean, you can't really speak too much about last week with the sub-squad.
Of course.
They did lose to Rocket in game number 1, which was some sick Zaya Rakan play, but they kind of wised up pretty quickly.
Yeah, kind of stumped Rocket in the next 2 games.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got to give some credit to Sven and Mithi, really able to direct
of course.
You know, some of those rookies around. But at full strength, you know, I mean, G2, like, it may not even be their final form. We see all sorts of improvement
of course
from them.
not. Like, this team will just get better and better now once they're back after holidays. That's kind of thing they always talk about. this is the time for Fnatic to beat us because now we're not fully practiced. But I don't think Fnatic cares about that. They just want to win this series, no matter who they face.
I mean, talk about bragging rights. You managed to take down G2 eSports during the regular season at their full strength. Okay, maybe they're still shaking the rust off, but man, in game 2, they turned it around. We'll see if they can get themselves off to a lead once again. We talked about early pushing lanes for them last time. Didn't always quite work out. This time, they still got a lot of late game insurance. I'm looking at Sven.
Yeah, I feel like I've heard that one before. Late game insurance, I'm looking at Sven. Kind of became the saving grace for G2 during the group stages of MSI. Managed to win multiple games based on just going full late game with him. They don't have to go full late game here. You have Elise, Jarvan, Lucian. That is definitely enough to fight in the mid game, man. Sven obviously on one item is actually also fairly strong. Like, he's not super weak until the full late game.
But this takes me back to game 1, right? Like, you've got the same combination available. If Soaz at level 6 can make a play down bot, they can start to bust the game open. And remember what happened down there in game 1? They picked off Mithy first, so he could not even get the wild growth out. You got to think they'll be gunning for him again.
Of course, but then we have to remember game 2 where they were setting up for that play, and suddenly Trick went top lane, managed to secure a kill for Expect and a tower, and it became much harder for for Fnatic to make that play bot lane. It's the same thing we're looking at here. Caps. Whoa. Early trading, Corruption Potion is your start. Pop it just when you go into the trade, and you can actually out-damage the Lucian. And that is what Caps just managed to do right here. But we want to see early ganks from Trick. He's top lane. Oh, he actually jumps behind Broxah, but they do see each other now.
Yeah, double buff on double buff. There's a Sonic Wave, but it looks like Broxah is going to opt to get under the safety of turret, as Expect has this wave charging in. Might be a little early to try to go for that dive, so Trick is going to back off.
And Jarvan, if you have not been following LCK, where we've seen him dominate quite a lot of games, it's not necessarily in the laning phase you just destroy everyone. No, it's getting your ulti. It's then joining the team around the map, roaming to mid lane, TPing to bot lane, and then using this insanely strong Jarvan ulti and his burst against a lot of these targets that don't really have any dashes. If you're Cassiopeia without flash, how do you get out of Jarvan ulti?
Yeah. Not a whole lot you can do there, and not to mention, if you pair that with Sven, you're going to have a bad time. Now, speaking of, it's first blood in mid as Perkz finds 2 champs are better than 1.
I love the 1v1s between these 2 guys here. I know, of course, Broxah joins after.
It's a great 1v1.
The bait at first from Caps, doing the 1v1 where he keeps his W. He doesn't use the W. Actually, see Trick finding Broxah here.
Ooh, that's a lot of burst. He gets the smite down for the extra health. Going to force Trick to turn around now as Cassiopeia is still there. Not a whole lot of mana. He repels up and out. I heard a flash. Trick burns it, but he wasn't able to close the distance.
So what's so beautiful once we get the replay of that little fight here is how Caps actually sits with W ready. It is not on cooldown, but he saves it until the key moment when Broxah shows up, because then Perkz can't actually flash or dash out of it. You are unable to use any of these movement abilities while you're standing on the miasma from Cap. So he baited, he held on to it until Broxah showed up, then used it, and Perkz couldn't react in time. Such a smart play from Caps right there.
Yeah, and honestly, considering he's up against a player that is so renowned for honestly being able to crush out in laning phase, Caps is definitely not having too hard of a time, even with some assists from Broxah. We're going to see it again.
Yeah, so now they're trading. He could use his W here on the Cassiopeia, but he doesn't use it. He saves it, and then when Broxah shows up, before Perkz can actually react, Miasma comes down, and therefore Perkz can't actually escape. He can't dash out of it. And then it's an easy Q to land from Broxah, and it's all baiting. Lee Sin is out of vision. Once he's in vision, you use the Miasma and you get the kill.
But nice placement for Broxah as well, being in the right place at the right time. Early game aggression. Talked about him being able to match what Trick was doing. Well, he's honestly been able to one-up him so far. Even if Trick found him on his Raptor camp, he couldn't finish the job either and got a flash out of him to boot.
Great for Broxah, obviously, in this matchup where Lee Sin, in terms of scaling, is superior. You always respect the Elise early game, but then much later, oh, baby!
Caps is going all in. You're grounded, mister. Perkz is going to have to dash and flash, and he's going to eke away with an inch of his life, but he got everything burned to do it.
Sick engage from Caps right there. Old flashes over the wall, no reaction.
What a madman
for Perkz. Luckily though for Perkz, he actually saved that flash he couldn't use last time and used that to get out of this one. But the Cassiopeia counter pick, we said it in Champ Select, it actually works really well against the Lucian. Not necessarily I'm going to dumpster you in lane, but you can definitely take the early fights. Caps is doing exactly that against Perks.
Broxa moving back to the scene of the crime here. Spotted on a ward by Expects Jarvan. He's going for a roam himself, but he's also pinged out, so whatever G2 were planning with Expect, it's not going to come to fruition just yet.
But now with this flash gone, the Jarvan ulti is so impactful. If he gets to push top lane and roam down through the river unnoticed, little mistaken communication from Fnatic, and suddenly Jarvan shows up and Cassiopeia will either die or they force the Shen ulti defensively on her. And that means they can't use Shen ulti in the bottom lane to make a play against Mithy. So a lot of small things can happen right now, like almost a domino effect. If one play happens through Expect, suddenly the bot lane from G2 is much safer. If that play doesn't happen, then we can see the play from Fnatic with the Shen ulti on bottom side. So a lot of small openings. If Perks goes aggressive here, Shen ulti can also happen straight onto Cassiopeia and Perks can't get out, no flash.
It's true, things start changing right now. So as having that ultimate starts to make a big difference. Dragon warded up by both teams. Mithy trying to clear out what he can. But G2 have been able to hold up decently well so far. That mid lane pick notwithstanding. And it really is only a 500 gold advantage the way of Fnatic. No other big edges on the map just yet.
And we're looking at Expect and his movements. He's once again stepping down from the top lane. But the ward here from Source did spot him. Always look for Jarvan to leave and go mid against the no-flash Cassiopeia. And then whenever he's leaving, Source can call. Now he can actually TP away. He can actually ult away and join his team. So we might see some fights, either mid or bot lane. Trick wants to attack the global.
Here we go. Soaz does have a dash, so he can very easily get outside the Cataclysm. And that ward was pretty value. They spotted Trick coming up, and now he's committing hard here into the wave of minions, forcing the flash out of Soaz as he sends a cocoon flying. Meanwhile, Perk's trying to sneak back into his own tower range. Sends a calling on Caps as a Petrifying Gaze gets cleansed out. And Broxa, meanwhile, is able to secure a Dragon. Now Fnatic, 3 members strong, looking for the bottom side. Soaz still can't get back.
No, he's just getting denied everything, but Caps are trying to do the same mid. Meanwhile, bot lane as well. We saw Broxa just go down there after taking the Dragon. Shen ulti is ready, no TP from Expect. Fnatic could make a play on bottom side while they're losing top tower.
Yeah. G2, they are able to get first brick for themselves. Fnatic are going to try to commit a little harder, but Sven and Mithy look to back away.
Yeah, this is credit to Sven and Mithy. Look how far back they're sitting. They're not allowing Fnatic to just easily go for a tower dive with the Shen ulti. So them respecting the play means that Fnatic can only get damage on the tower and not some kills.
Nicely played by them. It looks like Fnatic will be able to trade for tower, or at least a lot of damage. You can see that Perks and Trick are running for this bottom lane, but they will turn tail right back around as Fnatic won't hard commit.
And this is just the kind of situation you see so often where the enemy bot lane just gets killed because they're trying to stay under the tower defending. They're like, oh, was that 4 guys from the other team joining and killing us? Well, that sucks. Now we lost kills and the tower. Sven and Mithy respecting the cross-map play means they actually stay alive and they can go in and defend this tower here. So they got first tower top lane and didn't lose the tower in the bottom lane. Just smart play, communication from top to bottom.
100% of the way, Fnatic trying to push back, but it is them who have fallen behind now as G2 with the gold from first tower get themselves up in the lead only by 300. It's not huge right now. Caps still bullying out Perks. We saw earlier that Perks on that Lucian in game 1 was having a bit of a better time, but this time, not quite so much. Caps is playing with some serious confidence here.
Yeah, and again, it's also because Perks knows he can't really all-in Caps due to Shen ulti. He needs Expect to join. Still few seconds on that flash from Caps, and once again, we get the Jarvan roam we mentioned. He's sneaking down. No wards in the river.
Ooh, Perks is able to turn away.
There we go.
There we go. There he goes, and now there is no flash up and available. Caps has nowhere to go, and he accepts his fate, but not before Soaz comes in with the tuck. Can he get out? No, the double tap. It's Expect who finishes the job. Soaz came in just a smidgen too late.
Yeah, not possible for Fnatic to have wards in that river after losing the top lane tower. And just in time before that flash will be ready again for Caps. We got the roam from Expect. We got the defensive Shen ulti. It almost feels like these teams agreed. This is how we should play out this game. And they're like, okay, you come mid with Jarvan, you kill this guy, but then we defensive Shen ulti and we try and, do something to maybe fight back. Meanwhile, Brock's bottom side. Expects TP is ready. There's a ward in this brush here just behind Reckless in the lane.
Soaz can match it on TP. Oh, they're shredding the wave though. Between Sven and Mithy, they've got a lot of damage on these minions, but still Fnatic want to commit to this. Mantra Q, Mythy taken down to half health, but you can see Expect is hanging out. He's pinged. Fnatic know what's up.
Yeah, so they actually see him. They also will see Trick if he shows himself on the top side. Oh, Broxa!
Okay, Mythy has to wild growth on himself as Broxa was looking to come on in. But meanwhile, up top, we got action as well. Trick is going right through the minion line, and Soaz goes in for the taunt. Doesn't quite get it. The TP coming around the side. Trick is still going for it. Expect just can't close the distance. He flag and drags over the wall. Looking to turn on Soaz. No tower there for him to go back to as the tower falls down in the bottom side. Soaz is isolated, and Expect claims kill 2.
Yeah, he did not see that teleport. That's why he tried to see if he can taunt Trick with all the minions around and see, okay, maybe I can kill him in time.
But here's your cross map, Deficio. Caps and Broxa on this mid turret, trading once again.
Yeah, this is actually good for Fnatic. They don't care about losing 1 kill top on their tank. They took the bot lane tower because, of course, Expect, while he was down there defending, TP top, so he's gone. It's only 2 guys down there. And then they also get mid tower because Caps, of course, been dominating this 1v1 matchup. In the end, Fnatic get 2 towers and lose 1 kill. And G2 lost the teleport against a Shen composition. So all in all, a big win for Fnatic right here.
Sometimes you don't always want to gank the teleport when something else important is on the line.
Actually, even if Soaz knew the TP would come down here, I think him going for the potential kill is actually the best play. Because he knows there's no tower for him, and he had a massive minion wave to try and kill Trick. And at this point, he's just buying time. Right now, buy time. You know you're gonna die, but you also know your team is getting 2 towers.
You know, on top of that, he also got a flash out of Trick as well, so a little bit extra value. Broxa's coming in. Oh man, if he would be able to steal that Rift Herald, that'd be something else. But the Sonic Wave is going to expire. It's Trick and Mythy taking their time about this. Should have it finish off. Ooh, threatening. But Trick secures it.
Yeah, if he had hit that one, I think he would have gone for it, but just missed it in the end. So Rift Herald over to G2 eSports. We have not seen good Rift Heralds today.
Yeah, there's definitely a bit of a misfire earlier.
Not been able to do a whole lot with them. Obviously, mid lane is often the preferred target for them, but if you have a split pushing top laner, it's actually fine then to put in his lane. That's exactly what they did right here. Trick basically saying, I know my Jarvan is winning the 1v1. I'm going to give him a Rift Herald, so his pushing power is even stronger. Screw the mid lane. I want to just back up Expect here, because Expect pushed in the bot lane. Rift Herald is on the way to try and take tower. Fnatic are forcing play on top lane, though.
They can push a little faster than the Rift Herald can right now. However, Sven and Mythy have joined, and they're out of minions, so Fnatic got to back off. Expect moving into mid to see if he can close the distance on Caps. Slithers away. He's got his flash up this time, so he's perfectly happy to take this 1v2.
And while Rift Herald pushing bot lane, the rest of G2 are looking to get something on the top side. Won't really get any damage mid because they couldn't force Caps out of lane. That's why Expect came into this mid lane to try and maybe get a flash. Rift Herald, fantastic burst up front, and then kind of lackluster damage after.
Yeah, it kind of puts it all into the battering ram, doesn't he? Or she, excuse me.
Yeah.
I don't want to assume genders. On the Rift Herald, that's for sure. Sven stepping up. Reckless and Jez is waiting in the wings.
Shen ulti, baby!
Here we go! Reckless delivering! The other ninja right on top of Sven, and that puppy is going down.
I mean, we saw this in game 1. We've seen it in game 2. We've seen it last split.
So is instant TP down bot 2. He's going to be able to save tower.
Well, he's trying at least to save it and also maybe set up a play because Broxa is on the way.
Man,
Broxa just wants this Cloud Drake. Definitely not the same, guys. Definitely not the same.
Glad you cleared that one up. Man, Soaz is putting in overtime, Deficio. I'll tell you what. Able to fend off Expect right now, but Broxa might have bitten off a little more than he could chew. However, it does mean that Jez and Reckless will be able to finish off the tower that they started a while back. Trying to shore up that gold lead 16 minutes in.
I feel like in this meta, we see so many Shen performances that are just very suboptimal, where it feels like Shen didn't really do anything. But Soaz are often able to really utilize the double TPs, or the ulti and then his own teleport, so effectively to be basically 2 places at once. I'm top lane getting a
that's
kill.
That's where the ninja stuff comes in. I said he wasn't a good ninja, but
Soaz is a good ninja. Soaz is a very good ninja.
Well, I mean, it's similar to Reckless with the Kennen, right? You got to give him props for playing this champion out so well. Now Sven could be in trouble. He's stunned up by the Shuriken, has to flash out, followed by Reckless. The man has no fear, and he gets the kill, but we're checking back in at the Drake as Expect picks off Broxa.
There's poison on him.
Oh, right goes down. That's going to be Expect falling, but not before they were able to secure quite a lot. Trades all over the map here, Deficio. It's chaotic.
Yeah, once again, Reckless staying in that side lane, goes straight for the 1v1 kills. Sven, they're not respected damage early on.
Caps is trying to stop backs here. Looks like he's going to do it right now. He's still able to hang tough. That turret's going down. Jez and Reckless have not stopped pushing. Soaz gets the taunt, but Perks is going to cleanse it and flash away. Oh, he's it again, looking for Trick. These guys are relentless right now. Caps exhausted, still putting out damage. That Munchkin's coming for you, but Shezzy steals the kill away at the end.
Oh,
secures.
Fnatic.
He secures it to Fischio.
That is fighting everywhere. It's so fast. It's so hard to react. Sven caught and died top lane. Meanwhile, bottom lane, you would think, okay, this is in favor of G2 now. This is actually way earlier, by the way.
Let's rewind the clock a little bit.
So this is the Shen ulti onto Reckless, the classic, hydrated carry in the side lane, and then Shen ultis onto him that every team in the world will utilize. Maybe mainly Fnatic will use that strategy. Source bot lane to defend. Into then a dragon fight right after, where you can see on the minimap, 2 guys from Fnatic are top lane. So this is 4v3. And engage from Expect into a kill on Lee Sin, but then Caps are just feeling so confident because Perkz didn't manage to join the fight early. Perkz then kind of walks around a little bit weird and realizes, okay, not actually dealing any damage at first. And the full HP, fairly fed Cassiopeia at this point.
Yeah, can do this.
Can do this, and just at this point, Caps he's looking for kills, but he's also looking to just stop G2 from actually going back to base and see if maybe Reckless and Justice can push a bit more.
Yeah, big swing now for Fnatic, and it was all a bamboozle, stopping their backs to allow for the extra tower taken out, but Reckless flashing under that while all this was going on to finish off Sven. I mean, yeah, Caps, he couldn't quite close the distance, but we know how it all ended. Back to live, the action never stops. Reckless this time is on his own, or is he? It's Soaz tagging in, and now the tables are turned. Trick's out of there, and Reckless on a killing spree, 3-0, looking for Expect. It's never just one member of Fnatic.
I like that, Pyra. It's never just one member. Redemption as well from Jessis to keep them alive and buy enough time for Shen to show up. And the Kennen Shen combo for Fnatic. Game 1 it worked. Game 2 it worked for most of the game. Game 3, once again, it is dominating.
But this is the big gold swing now. Fnatic are not stopping. They've got 4 towers. They're looking for number 5. And with a 2-man advantage, G2 aren't even moving to try and defend this one as they come back up off cooldown. We're approaching 20 minutes, and this is looking a lot more like Game 1 than Game 2.
All right, Baron spawning. It's been actually an objective that's been killed very early in this series. Like, last game was the 21-minute Baron. After that one team fight from G2, they just rushed straight into it and took it down. Fnatic played around it in Game 1. So Reckless trying to sneak into the bottom lane. He gets engaged on, but then it's Shen ulti and then Redemption coming in as well. If Reckless dies before Shen shows up, then obviously it's not really going to be very good for Fnatic. But Redemption and the rest of them making sure everyone is staying alive.
You know, it's a pretty minor thing, but honestly the most impressive thing about that for me was that inside the Jarvan pit, Reckless was still able to lightning rush dodge the cocoon. Honestly, I think that made a big difference.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, no QSS on him either. He might have been dead to rights.
Also gotta keep in mind the lifesteal he's actually getting when he's getting to auto attack. If he gets stunned up instantly, he can't do that.
Just Reckless things. Hell of a player, that guy. Really taking it to G2 eSports right now. Fnatic can finish this game off and take a series lead early in the split. That has got to give you supreme confidence that you can take on the rest of Group A. And they're looking like they can do it.
Yeah, I think they're pretty confident.
Maybe the rest
already.
of the LCS. Let's go with that.
Yeah. After your 2-0 start, where you took down Misfits and NIP, you're probably not too scared of Rocket right now. No offense to Rocket, of course, but I think if you're Fnatic, yes, you're feeling pretty good. If you're G2, even if you lose this series, you're still feeling very good about your group here. And it's just so fantastic. We get 3 games. We get the classic Fnatic comfort picks and playstyle, and we get G2 trying to counter it, trying to play against it. Hello, Reckless. Is that a cannon?
We've seen this movie before, and I know how it ends. Reckless gets the finisher. No assistance required. And Sven knows there's no way in hell he's getting the Acathian surprise. And wouldn't you know it, Deficio, look at the time. Baron's up.
There we go. Early Baron being rushed down once again. They have the damage to do it. Sven, while he could try and check the brushes with his ulti, it is so hard once you are behind against this cannon. Always hiding in a brush. Always ready to just assassinate you.
Ooh. G2 decided they beat the cannon in Game 2. They could give it away in Game 3. I don't think that was the wisest choice.
Well, Game 2, they would say, yeah, look, we can just go late game and we can beat it.
Yeah.
That's always the thing, but I agree. And we said this in Game 1, we said this in Game 2. So it's not just, you know, hindsight 2020, but
No, we do much more than results-based analysis.
definitely. It just gets so much harder to play the game when you give Shen and Kennen to Fnatic.
I mean, that's the flip side, right? Yeah, it was so critical. They could have picked it up as well. They could have taken
first picked
Shen
it,
early on, but they thought they'd be able to, make the plays. And in all honesty, like G2 have not looked awful in this game. It was really a big opener that kind of set Fnatic up for success. And the problem is you give them an inch, and they'll go about a light year.
Thought there was some lighting rush in there, but no.
Yeah, I thought about it.
Yeah. Didn't commit.
Oh. Reckless. Looked like he was going to be caught out, but Fnatic are looking to close the trap. Now Perkz pushed back by Soaz with the Baron-empowered minions. Fnatic 1-3-1 working out.
Perkz hates this game. He's not been able to do anything on this Lucian, under pressure in the laning phase. Then he tried to join that fight early near the dragon. Didn't really manage to do a whole lot, and it's been a tough game for him to really have an impact in. And kind of look at Sven then, but he's 0-3, so none of the carries from G2 are farmed or fed by any means.
Oh yeah, G2, 3 LCS champions, the kings of Europe, as we always call them, the new kings, and those robes are looking a little shabby right now. Sven taken down to half his health. Broxah does not want to take the Sonic Wave in onto Trick. Fnatic can afford to wait it out, to push it out slowly with these Baron-empowered minions. A couple of cannon creeps. The siege is on inside the castle at G2. Can they hold on here? There goes one cannon creep.
Yeah, you don't really have any minions to back you up right now, and that little one guy who's not exactly tanking the tower for you.
I mean, he's doing overtime.
Don't worry.
Look at him. He's on 1 health. He's still fighting.
Someone hit him. Thank you, Mehdi.
Rest in pepperonis. All right, Capso as Brox is still threatening here. Meanwhile, Reckless on the bottom side. You can see where G2's priority is.
Yeah,
3 members down bot.
Go bot lane, guys. Kill him.
Okay, he's gotten the dunk on, but he flashes out, trying to turn back around. Soaz doesn't even use Stand United.
Good timing, though, from G2, because they just killed the wave mid. So there was no minion wave for Fnatic to take the tower with. That's why they could go bot lane and make a play. Reckless there overstayed slightly, which is why he got jumped. If he stepped away and waited for this minion wave to actually hit the tower, then no one from G2 can really go bot and force a fight, because then they lose the mid tower. So for G2, it's constantly playing in between the waves. Now, mid lane wave is gonna die. They can actually go bot lane and kill a wave as well. But now Fnatic are tired of waiting for these stupid minions and just kill the tower instead.
Want something done right, you might have to face tank a tower. But unfortunately, G2 have been able to push him off. This is the power of this Kog'Maw. He may have had a rough time of it when faced in an uncertain situation up against Reckless in a brush, but Sven is still able to clear waves with a ferocity. On to Caps, looking for that. He's got flash. He's in no danger.
No ulti
that
from
couldn't quite close the gap and didn't get that Cataclysm, yeah.
All right, Baron is gone right now, but Fnatic didn't manage to take down mid tower, and now they all have to just back away and kind of reset the map. Realize, okay, we didn't get it this time around. Reckless did have to use his flash. And I want to say, Pyro, big picture. I'm really happy that Fnatic are not just getting destroyed by G2 eSports, because it would be really bad for Europe if our top team was so good that they could go on holiday, show up without a lot of practice, and still take down one of the best teams in Europe without any problems.
And in other splits, we would have seen that. G2 was so domestically dominant, and that was why it was so frustrating to see them struggle on the big stage. But now they come back hot off an MSI performance that they got redemption in, and we're seeing Fnatic challenge that.
And that's why I don't care if G2 is playing on 20%, 50%, 90%, 100%, whatever it is. I'm just glad that once they actually come back to the LCS, and it's early on and after the break, a team like Fnatic are good enough to really challenge them and take them down. Like, this game has been very convincing for Fnatic. Game 1 was the same deal, and that's good for us.
And even Game 2, early on, Fnatic looked like they were going to be able to put themselves in a very good position, but G2 were able to find some bite back, and that's why we got this great series here. So as jumped on, he's got flash, he's still hanging in the pit. Oh, can he get out in time? He doesn't! That was almost a Soaz.
Almost a Soaz, but now mid lane tower might go down, but actually there's still no minions for Fnatic to kill it.
Oh boy, Sven is going low, kicked out, that puppy's out of there. Broxah looking for the chase down, and he flashes in for the finisher.
Well, Expect is coming down here to see if he can kill Broxah.
Okay, the fights never end here right now. Broxah back within some minion range, and Reckless looking to try and turn back as Expect realizes he might have gone a little bit too far out of range for the rest of his team to be able to help him out. Stunned up, nearly a tower, turning around. Can he do it? Wild Growth's on. Mythy's gonna save his life.
So they got a kill on Sven here, lost source, but they got mid lane tower. That's the important one. They're finally inside the G2 base. Inhib dropping as well. 11,000 gold lead from Fnatic.
Oh boy, Caps has no fear. He was going right in onto 3, but he might pay for that with his life. Perks looking to chase him down, get some revenge of his own, but he is way too slippery on that snake. Fnatic are able to back away after finishing off mid and hip.
All right, Baron, 1 minute. We slow it down a little bit. And I say that in a Fnatic game.
I mean, it's all relative. It's all relative.
So, 1 minute for that Baron. That's going to be the setup. That's going to be all Fnatic needs to close out this game right now. As long as they execute that Baron play properly, they should be able to walk into this base of G2 eSports, take down the last few inhibs, and close out this game with this massive goal lead, 3 full items on Reckless. Sven, going back to base now to complete his Rage Blade. Finally, he's a full item down. This is the play from mid. Mythic gets stunned, and then Bruxa diving in. Heal from Sven, just giving him enough HP to not get fully executed by that Lee Sin ulti.
Still dodging things out, and yep, Sven, oof, having a rough one.
Always good with their impressions after dying. We've had a lot of singles on Sven.
Well, this game, he's definitely not finding it quite so easy, but he is still Kog'Maw. We're still 28 minutes into this game. He's not going to get any weaker.
No, but this is about Fnatic and them actually setting up around this Baron. They got all the control wards they need. Source without any globals right now, so you can't actually sit bot lane, but you know if you're Fnatic, yeah, you're just waiting for this one pick.
Trick's gonna have to come right back on down, and they will finish him off, even through the wild growth. And that's meaning no smite now for G2 eSports, but Fnatic aren't interested in the big purple worm just yet. They're gonna go right in on to expect. He dunks, but he gets dunked. Perk's gonna have to flash away to avoid the tether of Jez's, and Fnatic say, who needs the Baron? There's an open base in mid.
Yeah, I guess you don't really want to spend time taking that Baron down if you've already killed 2 guys on the side of G2. Once again, that slow minion wave in the mid lane. Never really with Fnatic. It's coming now, so they have to actually say, okay, never mind, we can't go for mid.
Caps might be a little isolated here, but the team's right behind the wall, and Lucian grounded. It's Caps that finishes it off. Reckless tags his way in, and all of a sudden, it looked like they were in trouble. They baited it right back, and that is gonna be it. Stopping to finish off the inhibitor, and it is going to be Nexus turrets. Mythy and Trick here desperately to defend, but nothing doing at all. What happens when the Royals clash here in Europe? Well, you know what? It's a renaissance. Fnatic have done it. They've taken down the Kings 2-1. GG.
And as we talked about in the game, Pyra, the fact that Fnatic can win this series here is a very good sign. It's not about how practice is G2 at the moment. We know they're going to get better. We know G2 will pick it up once they have more time. It's important that Fnatic are good enough to take them out 2-1 and actually do it with some very, very one-sided games as well in both Game 1 and Game 3.
Right.
Where we saw Fnatic really get some good early leads.
And to build an insurmountable lead against a team that loves to lock you down and control you like G2 eSports, that's what makes it all the more impressive. And the longer this split goes on, Fnatic are just looking hotter.
Of course, they're looking very good after they kept the lineup from Spring Split. Some of them went to Korea to practice as well, more in solo queue and everything, and now joined up with Reckless back here in Europe, who's of course looking on form. 3 times Kennen, 3 good games from him, and
yeah, even the loss.
3-0 Fnatic now, early on, week 2. Now we need to see G2 eSports obviously start picking it up once again, return to their top form, and then suddenly you have a fantastic battle for first place in Group A. Like week 7 is when they play each other again. Note that one down, because that's going to be such a fantastic series once more. We got everything we could ask for here. 3 games, fun games as well.
Yeah, and honestly, fighting for every scrap of control on the Rift. Masterful play. We talked about Fnatic stepping up individually last week. Well, that was some incredible teamwork. For G2 eSports, obviously it's disappointing for these guys to come back and be faced with the loss. But in all honesty, if anyone's going to be able to bounce back easily, it's them.
Of course, definitely. Very true.
But man, what a hell of a series, man. That was incredible.
We got Ken and Shin 3 times.
I know, and you normally think, it's, like, same champion picks, all right.
Yeah,
but
like,
they still got it through.
Those are the 2 champions you just normally never see go over to Fnatic.
Yeah, they get banned, and they get banned against everybody else, too. So, unconventional strategies, I suppose.
I guess G2 definitely test some things, and it is regular season. You can't really blame them for trying out, how do we deal with this cannon? Maybe next time we play Fnatic, do we have to remove it? Or do we actually feel like we're now confident dealing with it? Because at some point, you have to just look at the key comfort picks and say, okay, we can't keep just banning it every game. Like, what if the meta shifts and you have to ban 3 specific champions every time on red side, and then you play Fnatic, and then the cannon is left open? Like, at some point, you got to learn to play against it. This was not the game where G2 learned how to play against the cannon. Because
I mean, they did okay in game 2, right? We got to give them credit. They were able to shut down the early plays, and it was also Caps stepping up pretty big in a lot of those instances. But all the same, it was pretty awesome to see how that series unfolded. Now, with an action-packed 3 games, Fnatic